Today I find myself in the town of Saint-Mihiel, Saint-Mihiel? Difficult to say in English. But I'm inside the church in the town, which is currently under restoration. And so I was able to just walk into it and be alone here. This town is very significant in American Army history because this is the location of the Saint-Mihiel offensive, which is the first time that the United States Army in World War I was sent into action as a unified force. And for most of our soldiers, it was the first time that they would fight on the Western Front in World War I. All of the famous soldiers that we think about in the 20th century fought here, including President Truman as a captain in the artillery, MacArthur, Patton, Sergeant York. They were all here, all originating in the town of Saint-Mihiel. This church sits next to the city hall and in the center of the village. It's extremely easy to imagine our soldiers taking mass here in the nights and days before they were sent up into the offensive on the Western Front, east of here for the first time in 1917. I chose to film inside the church because, aside from the fact that it's beautiful here, it's also very windy again outside, and so I'm not sure that I'd be heard on my camera. But what I didn't expect was to be able to walk into a cathedral and stand in a place like this completely alone. Getting off the beaten track in Europe is the way to do it. Later, I'll move out towards the front lines in this area and observe a little bit of what that looked like for our soldiers. As I drove from Verdun, the evidence of the Western Front was never far from the road. To the left, continuously, was the red zones that I had walked through at the Verdun battle site. And just like there was just a sudden ending to the farmland, and then these dead-looking woods would start. But the road took me down here, which on a personal level is even more interesting because, of course, American soldiers served here. I had a great-grandfather serve here. Many of my friends had family that came here during the war, and they would have passed through this church in this town on their way to their first battle deployment, and in many ways the first deployment of the modern United States Army with our current division system and the same patches that we're familiar with today. This was also the United States' first step onto the world stage and the first time that it had ever deployed an army to Europe.